Welcome back to the channel, my fellow AMC apes. We have a lot to talk about. So before we jump into the technicals and why AMC could be setting up for a massive squeeze above 100 and I share my personal strategies to profit, let's first talk about the massive manipulation going on in the markets around AMC and all the FUD and why this could actually be really good for AMC stock. I know that sounds a little weird, but make sure you stick around till the end of the video and let's get right to it. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the manipulation and FUD going around in AMC stock. As you can see, yesterday, we were down about 25-30% after AMC essentially said that, hey, we're going to be selling about 11 million shares to raise some capital. And you know what? We aren't really in it for the fundamentals. The apes, we're all in it for the money to make that profit. The fundamentals don't really matter. So as you can see, it got bought back up pretty fast. We came down, guess what happened? Even today, we're bouncing back higher. People are buying it back up. But just take a look at the FUD and the manipulation. If you search up AMC stock, the very first article that at least comes up in my search recommended is AMC warns investors against buying stock, says they could lose all their money. And honestly, this is just FUD because when companies issue any of these shares or any statements in general like earnings or whatever, they usually always tend to mention some sort of warning to investors, especially when they're raising shares, because they know that by issuing shares that's equaling dilution, so that's going to equal a drop. And considering the fact that AMC has ran up so much, it obviously makes sense for the company to reiterate that point and really stress the importance that, hey people, you better be smart. But guys, we already know this, so the fact of the matter is that this is just FUD, manipulation to scare new investors who might not really understand what this means, and they're thinking, oh, AMC is saying don't buy AMC, sell, right? Don't buy, we could lose all our money. And that panic is, as we can see, what caused that about 25% drop yesterday, but it's getting bought back up. So I just wanted to address that FUD and manipulation, and also I wanted to talk about why this is actually good for AMC stock going forward. Now, this might be a little controversial. I know a lot of people might be like, how is this good for AMC? How can all this manipulation, how can this, drop back down, how can it be good for AMC stock? Well, the truth is that this manipulation, this pullback is healthy. If we continued running up and up and up and up, that's not going to be sustainable. At one point, the bubble is going to pop and we're going to crash back down. There's going to be a ton of profit taking. But if we want a sustained move to the upside, if we want to see higher highs, we need these healthy higher lows, these healthy pullbacks that give buyers and sellers a time to take a breather, a time to take a pause, reevaluate, and then buy back in. And then along with that, guess what's happening? During this time, a lot of people that were looking to buy AMC stock or were perhaps on the edge about buying AMC stock because they felt like they missed it, this pullback gives those people an opportunity to maybe perhaps jump in and buy into AMC stock as well. And guess what? That buyer influx equals greater demand and a surge in prices, right? Simple supply and demand, just like that, right? So that's why I see this pullback as being healthy, and I see this pullback as an opportunity for a lot of new buyers and people potentially looking to add more to their positions, double down, or people who missed the opportunity to jump in, buy in, and take advantage. So from that aspect, I think this could actually be good for AMC stock and potentially lead to higher upside. But that's it. That's about the manipulation. That's about the FUD. Now let's talk about the technicals and why AMC could be heading well past 100 and potentially, see new highs, because we're at a huge point technically. And we'll also talk about my personal strategies to profit and trade it as well. Alright, so jumping into the technicals, we can see a few things right off the bat, right? We can see how we dropped back down. We found support around this, 43, 44 level. Even today we pushed up, we came back down and validated that 43, 44 level as support again, which is a good thing to see. But apart from that, we can see that today on this 15-minute chart, we pushed up and we found resistance right at about 57, right at about 58. Now this is for a few reasons, and this is actually going to be a pretty crucial level of resistance going forward. as we can see, if I actually, duplicate this line, this was a previous level of support that we had right over here, right? We can see we came down, we find support over here, it was support over here. So we're essentially turning that previous level of support into resistance, right? This is just classic technicals. Buyers are using that previous resistance level as a reference point to take profit and to sell, because they know that that's going to be an area where a lot of sellers are going to step in to keep the stock below that level. Now, apart from that, if I actually place in the Fibonacci retracement from our swing high up over here down to our swing low, we are finding resistance right at our 50 retracement right over here, which is right over here. It's this orangish yellowish line right over here, right? Our 50 retracement. Now, the reason this is really big and we need to break above this level is that you can think about the 50 retracement as that midpoint, right? We have our 50, we have our 0, and we have our 100, and that 50 is that midpoint. It's like that make or break level. If we're above the 50 retracement, it shows that buyers are essentially willing to commit to that higher price level. But by being below it, it shows that sellers are in control and there's not enough of buyer demand. So if we essentially want to see a higher move to the upside, we must break above that 50 retracement, and as you can see, we're starting to do that. We're forming higher highs and higher lows, and what you can expect essentially is that we see, somewhat of this kind of movement up and down before we get that break to the upside, right? We'll probably maybe consolidate, test it, break above, pull back, and then boom, follow through much higher to the upside. So overall, this higher high, higher low channel is looking pretty good right now, but we need to break above that 50 retracement. Now, if I actually remove the Fibonacci for a second and we actually go to the 1 month chart, we can see how we're setting up for a really big squeeze to the upside. As you can see, if I place in some lines, we are forming this massive symmetrical triangle, right? We can see we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter in this range, and this is a huge triangle. I mean, just look at the size of this, right? We can see how we've been really consolidating, forming this over the period of the last few days with these large swings. So once we break out, guess what's going to happen? We're again going to see a very large swing, maybe to the upside or perhaps a large swing to the downside, right? One thing I'll say is that these triangles can go either way. As I've said before in all of my videos, triangles can go either way. They can break out higher or they can break out lower. But a few things that are looking really bullish is the fact that, as you can see, the red MACD line is beginning to cross above the green signal line on this hourly chart. This essentially shows that buyers are regaining that momentum, right? Sellers took control of the momentum, but buyers are again beginning to step up. We're seeing accumulation. We're seeing buyers accumulate, and they're beginning to get that momentum shift before a much larger move to the upside. But not only that, the RSI has also pushed down to about 30, 40. So we're somewhat oversold on the RSI as well on this hourly chart. So with these two classic momentum indicators combined, it's looking in favor of the bulls. But another really big thing that I want to talk about is that we're at a crucial level of support and we held it very well. Buyers stepped up big time and held this support level beautifully. So going to the daily chart for just a second, we can probably see this a little better, right? So we can see that we really started our rally right at this level right here at about $10, right? So now if I place in the Fibonacci retracement from this low all the way up to our swing high, right? We can see, guess what? We pulled back and found support right at our 50 retracement, right? This right over here is our 50 retracement. So let me actually remove that trend line so we can see this a little better, right? We can see our 50 retracement, which is this orange line, right? We pulled back down, we actually even broke below it, right? So if I actually go back to that 1 month chart, we can see that we broke below the 50 retracement, we broke below it, but guess what? Buyers bought it back up, and we pushed up, we came back down, and again validated that 50 retracement as a level of support. So this is really big. The longer term trend from where we started to where we ran up to, we're holding that 50 retracement, showing that overall longer term trend, buyers are still committing to that higher price level. Now going back to the daily chart for just a second, another thing that I really like is, as you can see, when we pulled back down, Guess where we found support? Right at the 9 EMA, which is this blue line. Essentially, the 9 EMA shows who's controlling the trend. When we're below it, it shows that sellers are controlling the trend. When we're above it, pushing up, turning it into support and following through higher, it shows that buyers are committing to the trend and controlling to the trend. Not only that, the 9 EMA essentially calculates the short-term average price of any security or any stock. So the fact that we're above it shows that buyers are willing to pay a premium compared to AMC's shorter-term average price. It essentially shows that the apes are excited and that they're willing to commit to that higher price level. So again, amazing to see. This is just a classic push. Pull back to the 9 EMA before a follow through higher. Now, let's talk about my price target and my exact strategy to profit now that you guys get a rough understanding of the technicals. But before we jump into my strategies to profit, if you've been enjoying this video so far, be sure to drop a sub, and if you want to learn technical analysis for yourself and a lot of advanced trading strategies, be sure to check out the Gen Z Trader Academy down below to learn technical analysis and all these different trends and strategies to profit. So, placing in the Fibonacci retracement again from our swing high up over here down to our swing low, right? We can see we're kind of turning that 50 retracement into resistance. But if I actually zoom out for just a second, right? If I zoom out, we can see that if we break out of this symmetrical triangle to the upside, obviously we'll push up, right? Obviously we'll push up and find resistance right at this, zero fib level where we started. These all-time highs, we're definitely going to find resistance there. No doubt about that. But if we break above that, guess what? Our next Fibonacci retracement level is at 103, 104. So we're looking at a potential move above $100. If we can break out of the symmetrical triangle and break out of these highs, we are going to $100, baby. But now let's talk about how to actually trade this, right? Because it could go to $100, but how do you trade this? So my strategy to trade this would be to wait for the break above the symmetrical triangle and above this resistance level that we have right over here at about 57.7, because as we can see, we could easily break out but find immediate resistance and drop back down, because again, this is also our 50 retracement, right? A lot of sellers are going to try to prevent buyers from getting that push above that 50 retracement. They want to keep the trend in their favor. The manipulation is going to be real, guys. You guys better be getting ready for that manipulation. So what you want to wait is for that break above this 50 retracement, a break above this resistance level, and only into that would I be looking to buy significantly into AMC. Then we're going to face immediate resistance right up over here at about, $67, $68. I don't think we'll struggle too much, but I definitely believe that, you want to be trading it from our swing low up to our swing high. Like if we do end up breaking out, I would be buying here and, maybe taking a little bit of profit up at the swing high, just a little bit to lock in some gains, because you never know, because it's very often of the time, if we do fail to break above this level, guess what's going to happen? Boom, drop back down, right? So it's smart to take small profits along the way. I know a lot of people are going to be taking this as FUD and saying, oh, never sell, never sell. I agree. Never sell out of your full position just like that out of fear. But partial profits, nothing wrong with that. That is smart investing and smart trading. And then above that, again, we could be heading all the way up to 104. But now let's talk about what happens if we end up breaking lower. Because again, if we fail to break this level, I am very much anticipating that AMC stock ends up crashing a lot lower. In that case, our first level of support will be right over here at this level at about, this $46, $47 level, which is also our 76.4 Fibonacci level, right? It's our fib level right over here. We had support here, support here, support here. So pretty big support. But again, if we break this, then all the way down here to at this level at about, 36.8, which was a previous level of support over here and a previous level of support over here. Now, below that, well, we could be setting up for a pretty big move to the downside, right? A pretty big move. The next level of support that I see for, AMC stock, if we do end up dropping lower, is, all the way down here, perhaps at about 27.3. We had support here, we might find some support at these previous levels of resistance that we had right over here at about this level at about 31. We'll probably find support at about 31 as well, right? So over here, 31, but most likely a strong base for AMC will be around 25. And that's also where this 180-day SMA is, which is this orange line. The 180-day SMA is right at about these levels as well. So definitely expect a big move down to these levels if we do end up getting that drop lower. So that's the technicals, guys. That's my strategy to profit. If you appreciated this in-depth technical breakdown, be sure to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps push the video out to other people. And it also, if you want to learn technical analysis for yourself and a lot of advanced trading strategies to become more profitable and make better entry and exit decisions, be sure to check out the Gen Z Trader Academy down below so that you can learn technical analysis for yourself. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.